You really don't realize how blessed you are until you're fighting for your life. It strips you of everything that doesn't matter in life.
Perspective from cancer,
Aggressive stage 4 testicular cancer.
and a life-changing crash.
I was in a terrible car accident at 18. It was extremely violent. We hit a tree at 70 miles an hour, literally on my door. My pelvis had been exploded in many places. I shouldn't have lived through that car accident. My best friend didn't. And I walked away without a scratch.
Andrew Ryan experienced pain for years.
I had some inflammation in that area over the course of maybe a week, and then it went down. I just kind of waved it off and didn't go get checked out. I thought I had a bad leg day at the gym. I started to get pain in my thighs.
He thought it might be related to his car accident.
I began seeing an orthopedist. Couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Sent me to physical therapy, and the pain kept getting worse and worse in my legs. I started losing sleep to the point where I literally couldn't sleep. And then one night, my legs were absolutely on fire. I mean, I was spending every day hooked up to like a TENS unit with like a one of those little electronic blanket warmers on your legs, like all day long, and my legs were on fire. It was 2:15. I drove myself to the ER. I remember getting to the parking lot, and I looked at the front desk, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it to that front desk. I mean, I was in so much pain. And, I got there sweating, huffing, and puffing. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm in incredible pain. I can't stand. Please help me. And they took some scans. She said, I'm sorry, Andrew, I have really, really bad news. You have an advanced and aggressive stage 4 testicular cancer. And that was not what I was expecting, and changed everything. I wasn't even afraid. I went right into fight or flight, and for me, that's fight. I went right into fight mode. I had a lot of questions, but I wasn't the type that was going to start like Googling everything. I didn't want to know my chances, my odds. I figured, late and aggressive isn't good. Stage 4 is not good. But I was just intent on fighting. I didn't want to know the odds. I was just going to fight. I was angry, and then obviously I had to tell my family the news, and that was the hardest part, was to give other people the news, was to tell them, was knowing I was going to break their hearts. I don't think I've ever done anything worse than tell people who love me that I had a stage 4 cancer. All I knew is that I probably needed to go back home towards New Jersey, New York City, where I could find, the absolute best care in the world. They actually stepped it down to stage 3. So that felt positive, but I had a, it wasn't just in that my groin area. I had a lump the size of almost 2 fists between my kidney and my spine. It was already moving up and getting to places where you really don't want it to be. I had 2 lumps in my upper and lower right lung, and they cut into me, and they had plans to remove both of them. They removed the lower one, and obviously when they take these, they have to take part of your lung tissue with it. So it actually is going to affect your breathing capacity and lower your breathing capacity. The first one looked like it was dead necrotic tissue, which was great news. And the second one was connected to the biggest artery you have in your right lung. And they did not want to mess around and risk bleeding to remove a mass that was likely dead and necrotic. So they left that alone and saved me some lung capacity.
I am through the first round of chemotherapy. We did the stem cell transplant. So far, so good. Haven't been too nauseous or too sick. I haven't thrown up, which is nice. That's been a nice surprise. So yeah, holding strong. Can't wait to go home, although I've got at least another week before my white cell counts come up enough for me to go home. But nevertheless, feeling good, hanging in there.
He went through 4 rounds of chemo.
The 4th week is when I started to get a little nauseous. Some of the things that I've been warned about, the weakness, not having any energy, like you have a really bad flu, really bad cold, can't get up out of bed, not much you can do for yourself, can't keep food down. That's pretty much what it was like. And then the 4th round was tough. That took me like 3-4 weeks to recover from, until I felt, like I could put my dog on the leash and take him around the block for a walk without, feeling like I wanted to fall over.
I've got a little spot in my left groin that's going to be removed, and I'm hoping that'll be the last of it. We're also hoping that that spot will be completely dead and benign, like the spots in my lung when I had my lung surgery a couple months ago. So, getting ready to get undressed and get my gown on and get to it. Should be a quick procedure. They'll do it robotically, be done in 90 minutes, and I'll be happy when I wake up. And we'll be on the flip side of this. I'm sure everything will go nice and smooth, and they'll get this big mass out that's stuck between my kidney and my spine. It's time for it to go, so today's the day. I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
They had taken out the big mass that was stuck between my kidney and my spine because they were concerned about that. And that was a huge surgery. We're talking cuts sternum to stem, and I mean 42 staples. That was really, really rough. I got a call, and unfortunately, the doctor had told me that one of my scans had come back positive, that the cancer had begun growing again. And obviously, they saw that it had shrunk, not gone away completely, but they couldn't tell if it was, alive or dead tissue at that point. They came up with a plan. It was stem cell transplant with high dose chemo. And because I was young and strong, I was in the best shape of my life when I was diagnosed, which was the craziest part about it. They actually took the high dose chemo and turned it up a couple notches because they figured I could withstand it. The symptoms for that came on really fast. I mean, we're talking the very first week I couldn't keep food down. It was a battle right from the start. And then, if it feels like you're in prison when you're in a hospital for 90 days, I mean, I'm not sure what prison's like, but I can't imagine it's a lot different, waking you up at 4 a.m. every day. Those nurses don't mess around as far as, getting their medications and everything. Every 6 hours they're there. And it was not fun. It was a battle. I began writing my book when I was in the hospital, the book I published this past July. I was also working on some of my digital marketing stuff on the side to try to stay busy. It was hard to fill those hours, but that's what I focused on.
Then came the news he'd been waiting for: no evidence of disease.
Ringing the bell was a great moment. I was just so happy to leave the hospital, knowing I wasn't coming back. I just wanted to get home to my dog. He was fighting cancer as well. Unfortunately, I didn't find out with him until it was too late. He was 13. Great dog, my best friend. Crazy that we were both fighting at the same time, and he was like a rock for me. It felt like I had really been through the ringer. I mean, I was exhausted. I've been in fights before, all kinds of fights, literal and figurative, and that was the toughest one. I've had 6 scans since then, and every few months when that time comes and you're waiting for that phone call or those results, you feel like you're right back in the same spot. And I'm just continue to praying and hope and do what I can to wish for the best and hope those scans continue to come back clear. I'm coming up on the 2-year mark. The hard part was what I saw in the hospital. When you're sitting in your room and you hear the sound of like the IV poles because the doctors make you do laps around the corridor, and you hear the wheels getting louder, which means somebody's like doing laps up past your door, and you see them just go by your door real quick, and everybody had like this same slumped over, looking at the ground, walking, doing their laps, like this same slumped over body language of surrender. And it was one of the saddest things I have ever seen or witnessed or experienced in my life. And that's something that never leaves you. I mean, when they say if you've ever had cancer, even if you're cured, you're not in a way. And, maybe it's something that you can only understand if you've really had it. But it's just that stuff doesn't leave you. It was just such a sad place to be. And that sticks with me. It is definitely, it's like it strips you of everything that doesn't matter. in life. When you're fighting for your life, you realize that you are so lucky if you have like money troubles, right? If your troubles are focused on a relationship, or if your troubles are focused on, paying your bills, you really don't realize how blessed you are until you're fighting for your life. And I think that's what's affected my life the most. To face mortality, there's nothing scarier. That's the alpha and omega of life itself, right? If we're talking about facing fears, that's number one. Overcoming that was like overcoming everything. It feels like the highest possible path for me to take the value of my experiences and offer them to others, to think that other people would find value in my experiences. This experience has made me stronger and more powerful than I've ever been, more confident, more centered, more full of faith and strength than I've ever been. There's nobody that can really fight your battle for you. There's nobody who's going to understand. And unfortunately, we have to face this alone. And even if we have family with us, we all feel alone and singled out in this way. And I don't think that we would find ourselves in this position if God or the universe, whoever you believe in, didn't believe that you had the strength to face it. And I think that when we're singled out in these ways to face these extremely serious and difficult challenges, that it's a measure of your own personal worth, value, and strength. I would suggest you see it as a challenge and fight, and just fight to overcome it. Do it from a place of love and compassion. Do it from a place of being open, vulnerable, and authentic. Let them see the pain, let them see the hurt, but don't ever give up. Just keep pushing forward. Don't lose your authenticity, and know that no matter what happens at the end of this all, this life goes on. It's so wonderful for us to sit and dance and celebrate and just enjoy, life, and to have this perspective. I really am so incredibly blessed to be here. It's not like about surviving anymore. It's about making it worth it. How do you do that? That's my test now.
Thank you, Andrew Ryan, for sharing your story. If you connected with their story, we've queued up another one we think you'll enjoy. It's right here on your screen. Also, don't forget to subscribe to The Patient Story so you can be part of our community. You are not alone. Thanks for watching.